Okay, so I promised you guys we'd do some more long division. So let's look at two problems. First problem is going to be kind of simple, and we're going to conceptualize, meaning we're going to look at why the process works, and then the second problem is going to be straight math, all arithmetic. We won't do any junk on the side to explain what we're doing. Okay, excuse me. Uh, First problem, we'll start out with something, the divisor we'll say is 2, and we'll say we're dividing the number 458. Okay, cool. Now what we're going to do is say, well, what are we doing first? What are we doing first of all? We're looking big picture. We're going to try and get rid of the hundreds first. So I'm going to mark that in H. And then we're trying to get rid of our tens. Okay, so that's this column. Oop, I'm sorry. That was supposed to be green. Okay, green. Here we go. Tens. And then finally, we're getting rid of the ones. So we're starting hundreds, tens to ones. So let me write a little divider here so we can see what's going on. Okay. And again, we have two people. We have two people here. So there's one, person two. So 2 people, 458 items. We're going to start big picture, look at our hundreds. So we say, how many times does 2 go into 4? Well, 2 goes into 4 twice. I don't think I even need to show you the factors on that. That's pretty simple. 2 goes into 4 twice. So we'll write a 2 up here. And what does that really mean? Well, before I say what it means, 2 times 2 is 4. So we bring a 4 down here. Okay? And then we drop our 5. We drop our, 2 times 2 is 4. And we put a 0 here. 45 minus 40. That leaves us with 5. Okay, but what did this step really accomplish? What we did here was we distributed 200 items to 2 people. So let me write that over here. This was the hundreds place, and we distributed 200 and 200. Okay, so we're getting down. We're getting closer to our answer. We just got rid of 200 or 400 total items. So now we look at our next step, which is the tens column. So how many times does 2 go into 5? Again, that's going to give us 2. Okay? 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 5 minus 4 is 1. Then we drop down this 8. Good, 18. What did this step accomplish, you're probably asking? We distributed to 2 people 2 things of 10. 2 things of 10, 2 times 10 is 20. So in the tens column, we distributed 20. Now you see what's happening here is we're getting closer and closer to answering this problem. Now we're left with just our ones column, okay? So now we have to think of the factors of 2 and 18. 2 and 18. So what are the factors? I'm just going to skip ahead and say, 2 times 9 equals 18. Okay, guys? So you could have run through all of them, like 2 times 1, 2 times 2. But, it's 2 times 9, and that's pretty obvious. So we write a 9 up here. 2 times 9 is 18. And that gives us 0, and our problem's done. So, again, in this step that we did was the ones column. We distributed 9 ones. So let's just go ahead and do 9. Okay? So we went big picture, 220 and 9. 220 and 9. So each one of these people received 229 items. 229 items. 229 items. And in total, these guys received 458. So you see how that works? What we did was we started big, hundreds, tens, ones, and we worked our way down, and we ended up with 229. And that's really the beauty of long division, is that concept of going big to small. So let's do something a little crazier. I think we're ready for it. And like I said, this is going to be more arithmetic, so it's going to be more about the numbers and finding factors. Okay, so you're sick of the easy stuff, right? Let's do something a little more complicated. Start coming up with numbers. Let's say like 12. Okay, 12 divided by, what should we do? 6,582, right? Pretty crazy numbers right here. Actually, I'm going to drag this down a little bit so we have more room. Okay, drag that down a little bit. Okay, big picture, we're talking thousands first. So can we do anything with the thousands place? 12 does not go into 6. And what that means is we couldn't possibly give these 12 people 1,000 items, okay? Because that wouldn't make sense, because 12 times 1,000 would be 12,000, and that's much more than 6,582. So what we're saying is the thousands column, that's gone. We can't do anything there. So we have to look then at the hundreds column, this guy. So how many times does that mean, how many times does 12 go into 65? I don't know this off the top of my head, so what we have to do is start looking at the factors of 12. And I'm just going to write this on the side here, 12 times 1, that equals 12. 12 times 2 equals 24. 12 times 3, this is tedious by the way, 12 times 3 is 36, 12 times 4 is what? We add 12 to this, so that's 48. 12 times 5, I'm just going to start writing times 5, equals 60, times 6 equals 72, and while we're at it, I'm just going to keep going, so we knock out all these, times 7 equals 84, times 8, equals 4, there we go, 4, equals 96, and finally times 9 equals 108. So all I did for these factors, by the way, when I was doing these, I was just adding 12 to the prior one. So times 4 would be 48, add 12, add 12, add 12, add 12, add 12. So that's kind of a side note. So now that we have all this laid out nice for us, we say 12 goes into 65 how many times without going over? And that's this. It goes in 5 times. That gives us 60. So we should write in our 5, which is our factor, okay? And that gives us what? That gives us 60. 60, okay? So we simply just write the 60 down. Nothing too complicated. Okay, now we do the subtraction, which is 65 minus 60, which results in 5. And then there's this rule where then you drop down this number that's right next to it. So this comes down. It gives us 58, and this process repeats. So we say, what factor over here gives us something that doesn't go over 58? The highest that doesn't go over 58, so that's 48. So 12 times 4, so we write our 4 here. And this is our tens column. So 4 times 12, what's 4 times 12? 4 times 12 is 48. Okay, same thing, subtract, and 58 minus 48 gives us, what's it give us? Gives us 10. Okay, and then we drop down the 2, just like the step before, and then we look at our factors. Okay, so I see 8's going to be our nearest factor without going over. So 96. Go ahead and write that down. And then also I probably should have written this down. 8 times 12, 96. And then we do the math here, and we're left with 6. And you guys know what to do with the 6 because we just talked about it in the other video. It's a remainder 6. So that is long division explained on a longer problem. A lot of steps here, but just manage it. I would write it to the right of your problem, get all the factors down, and then just run through the process. And like we saw earlier, I mean, it's not really that difficult. You just find the factors, subtract, bring another number to the right, and you should really be fine. I know you will. All right, I hope this helped.